This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Time. Ben, there's some type of background distortion that's going on in your microphone.
Okay, I'll switch to a computer in like a minute. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order for starters. So welcome to the Commissioners' meeting of January 13th. The Pledge of Allegiance will dispense with just due to the technological difficulties surrounding that. However, that moment is meant to remind us of the pledge that we took to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Pennsylvania. So I'd ask that you remember that as we move into a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Sorry to be a couple minutes late. At least on my part, I was driving a fire truck a few minutes ago and couldn't get on until just now. Since the last time the board met, the commissioners have met twice in executive session. Both of them announced in advance. One was just before this meeting in order to talk about a legal matter with the solicitor, and before that we retired from the work session to executive session to talk about pending litigation. Did I miss anything?
Nope, I think that's right.
All right. Again, the meeting is being recorded, and I don't believe there's any correspondence to bring before the public. All right, hearing none, at this time I would ask if there's any public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone from the public to discuss, to bring anything to the board, ideally that does not have to do with the agenda at hand. But if there is something on the agenda you'd like to discuss, go ahead and bring that before us now. All right, hearing nothing. On the agenda today, we have a radio use agreement, rates for tax collectors, approval of an agreement with Country Manor Management Services, and the new business approval of the 2020 budget line item reallocations, resolution on the tax anticipation note, postponement of tax duplicates, reappointments to the Conservation Board, and appointments and reappointments to the Housing Authority Board. Do we miss anything that we had already discussed about discussing today? Hearing none, have you had a chance to review the minutes from December 23rd?
Look good.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Finance report, Riley.
All right, so the general fund, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the general fund has $3,145,473 as of 1/7/2021. The checking or the savings account has $1,217,068 for a grand total of $4,362,541. The difference between 1/7/2021 and 1/8/2020 is up 28.19%. The 2019 external audit came back. It was completed on 1/5/2021. There were two findings. One was a fixed asset not being logged into our financial software. That has been cleared up. They are now in Encode. And the other finding was there are bank accounts within the county that are not in our financial software, which we are working on getting that information into the financial software.
Riley, have those individuals been pretty cooperative that have those separate accounts?
Yes, I've been receiving emails since Eric sent out that first email with bank statements and information on their accounts.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good, thank you. Any other questions for Riley? Not, Kim, could you please give us an HR report?
Yes, can everybody hear me okay? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. New hires for Warren County. Andrew Higbee, effective date December 29th, 2020. He was hired in the jail as a cook 1 at a starting rate of $14.22 an hour, annual rate of $29,577.60. Changes for Warren County, effective 12/1, Brian Zabel went to the sheriff's office as a chief deputy sheriff, annual rate of $52,913. Separations from the county, Anna Dubé Phillips, effective 12/16/2020 from Human Services. She vacated the EIID clerk typist position. Matthew Wallen was effective 12/19/2020. He vacated a corrections officer position at the jail. Mr. Ken Claycamp vacated the sheriff's position effective December 31st of 2020. And Lori Bimber vacated her register recorder position effective 12/31/2020.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions? Find that there are monthly department head meeting minutes reports within the packet today. I want to again thank the departments that have stepped up to provide us with monthly information. There are 2 proclamations on the agenda. Commissioner Urban, could you read the School Choice Week and Commissioner Eggleston, the 211 recognition?
Certainly. School Choice Week in Warren County. Whereas all children in Warren County should have access to the highest quality education possible, and Warren County recognizes the important role that effective education plays in preparing all students in Warren County to be successful adults. Whereas quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of Warren County, and Warren County is the home to a multitude of high-quality public and non-public schools from which parents can choose for their children, in addition to families who educate their children in the home. And whereas educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community. Whereas Warren County has many high-quality teaching professionals in all types of school settings who are committed to educating our children, School Choice Week is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need for effective educational options. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Commissioners of Warren County, proclaim the week of January 24th through January 30th, 2021 as School Choice Week in Warren County. We intend to adopt this the 13th day of January.
Good, thank you. Any comments? All right, hearing none. Commissioner Eggleston.
Let me unmute my mic. The proclamation PA 211 recognition. Whereas 211 became the federally designated number to be used for information, referral, and access to non-emergency health and human services in 2000, and 211 reaches approximately 270 million people, 90% of the total U.S. population, covering all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. And PA 211 was launched in 2006 as a statewide collaborative for health and human service information for Pennsylvania. Now serves 9 counties in northwestern Pennsylvania. And PA 211 connects people with community, housing, health, and disaster services through a free 24/7 confidential phone service and searchable online database. And the United Fund of Warren County supports 211 within Warren County to help residents reach the human services that can assist them in their everyday needs and in times of crisis. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the Warren County Board of Commissioners, want to thank the United Fund of Warren County for their leadership and do hereby recognize and encourage the use of 211 as an easy to remember telephone number that will connect Warren County residents to information about critical health and human services available in their community.
Any commissioner comments? I saw a couple other people jump on the line since I called for public comment. I just wanted to give you an opportunity now to present anything to the board that you wanted to as a kind of second public comment period.
And I don't think there's anybody new on the call, actually.
Oh, okay.
So just a comment, being on the United Fund board, I've been able to see closely how this is helpful to our residents. And I think it had a few bumpy starts, but hopefully, it's going a long way with the United Fund dollars that have committed to 211 to helping everybody in Warren County get the services and access to that they need.
You're good, thanks.
This is Ed Atwood. If you want me to do a public comment, I have some things.
Sure, we can open up to public comment. Just let me take one quick vote real quick. So we've just completed the consent agenda, which is the agenda, the minutes, the finance report, the HR report, the department head reports, and the proclamations. Could I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make the motion to approve those.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, Mr. Atwood, go ahead.
Okay, one of the things I'm going to bring up, and Wes will probably handle this with you anyhow, you're going to get another round of Clovis money. And in the first round, you picked out 501c3s and gave them money. And what you have, though, you have a whole list of nonprofits. And the nonprofits are going to be the ones that probably get lost if they don't get any money. And I'll just give you some examples. Well, Tynester Valley Snowmobile Club is a partner in Winterfest. Winterfest spent all the money, not all the money, but a lot of the money for Winterfest, and we're not going to have Winterfest. And we have to try to recoup something or do something. And I'll give you an example on the Snowmobile Club. We didn't charge anybody any dues because of this Clovis thing, and so we're kind of left out in the cold for money, period, and we spend money all the time, and it's the same thing all the way around. You have to buy insurance, you have to do this, you have to do that, and I'll let Wes talk to you on paper on this stuff, but that's one of the things. The other thing is the seniors. I want to talk a little bit about seniors. We're supposed to be getting vaccine, and I watch all the news and all the things and everything, and there's vaccine everywhere, but we don't have it here for some reason. So somebody better look into it a little bit, because we do have Clovis when your neighbors are dying, and you can't go out because you're at risk and everything, and it's a sad situation. And we were warned before that this was going to come, and it did come, and it's here, and it's real. And if people can get vaccinated, let's get it done, And my wife and I both are risk people, so we don't dare go shopping. We don't dare go anywhere, basically. And the other thing on seniors, I contacted people in the late summer. I needed some help, and I got the biggest runaround. And if one of you as commissioners are in charge of anything that has to do with seniors, I want to talk to you like for an hour someday, and I'll explain all the things that I've figured out and that I've researched and that are not happening in Warren County. But I got actually even got hung up on by one person, and I'm not going to name names or anything or get into any of that kind of stuff. But when somebody contacts somebody that needs help, somebody should take it a little bit serious, and try to put them where they should be, and that doesn't happen. And I could go into detail, but I'm not going to go into any detail on it. But I want to talk to one of you commissioners at length on this and explain to you the situations that I figured out and I know are fact, you know, and that's where I want to go on that. Other things that are happening, we have projects that we'd like to do. We want to know if anybody is available to maybe do a grant for us or something, because with this lockdown that we're on, and of course, you know what we're talking about there, trail work, anything that we do, we're not allowed to use the inmates. You know, everything is basically shut down. And that's basically why we weren't allowed to do Winterfest, because we're only allowed to have a handful of people at the park. And so everything's locked down. But if we could get things going with the people getting their shots and stuff, maybe we could get a little bit more on the right track to being resolved on this situation. But I don't see it the way, well, actually, don't even talk to your doctor. We couldn't get a flu shot at the doctor's office this year. And we were the last people that got a flu shot through Warren General. And that's where you're at on everything. It's like a dead end when you try to do something. But that's basically some of the things that I want to bring up. And I want to talk to one of you. It doesn't matter who on the senior stuff, though, at length, because we have a problem here, you know, and I've figured out what the problem is, and I want to know from you what we can do about it. But I guess I'll just kind of leave it at that, and we'll be getting back with you through Pensoil and see what we can come up with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll address these items really quickly. First, CARES Act. Totally hear you that there are many nonprofits that are not 501c3s or 501c9s. Unfortunately, the CARES Act money was restricted by the federal government, so we had no control over it. I'm not sure what the new pot of money looks like or what kind of rules will be attached to it. So my hope would be that they could come up with a more nuanced approach to how we can help fund nonprofits, but we don't know at this point. I just wanted to make sure you understood that it's federal regulations that prevented us from giving to other types of nonprofits. As for the COVID vaccine, it is here. And the federal government, again, has put prioritization on certain populations as to who's getting it first, just because it is a finite good and there's not enough vaccine currently to go around. And so they're starting with frontline workers, healthcare workers, that is. So they've started vaccinating EMS personnel, the hospital employees, nurses, and such. And then they're going to be moving on to police, firefighters, that sort of thing. I think that's supposed to already start if it hasn't already. And then they'll move on to the next population, which has to do, I think, if my memory serves correctly, 75 years old and above. Then it'll move to another phase with 65 and above. And by the way, there's many other types of people that are eligible for the vaccine in these phases. I'm just kind of giving a big general highlight. And then will be the general public. We don't currently have a timeline on when that will be, but there's nothing in the county government that's holding it up. It's really the fact that the federal government needs to make a call as to when we're out of the first phase and into the next phase. We anticipate that to be soon. We have no idea when it will be available to the general public. Our best guess, I think, at this point would be maybe April. But again, don't hold me to that. That's a guess. As for a call with the commissioners, I'd ask that you call our chief clerk, Pam Matvey, at 728-3402, and she'll listen to the topics that you want to discuss and find a commissioner that's available and most knowledgeable on the various topics that you want to discuss, and one or more of us will be happy to meet with you. And as for grants, why don't you talk to the commissioner that you meet with about that? So thank you very much. Are there any other public comments?
No, I think you covered it. And when you talk to your doctor about the shot stuff, they tell you May or June, you know. Well, they don't know anything about it because they didn't even give out flu shots this year. You know, they weren't on the list to get anything like that because they were just doing their thing, and that was it, you know. And so I'm not even going to rely on a doctor's office. I'm going to more rely on what I can hear from you than I would the doctor's office, because you already gave me a shorter timeline than the doctor's office.
Again, that's a guess, but there will be multiple ways that you'll be able to get it when it's available to you, including the hospital, physicians, as well as local pharmacies. I know several pharmacies in town have applied for the waiver. So when it's available, I'm sure you will hear about it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Next on the agenda, moving on to our radio use agreement. What you have before you is a kind of standard template, if you would, that we need to approve and authorize for multiple agencies. As you are aware, the county purchased emergency radios for all the agencies in Warren County. And as such, until they depreciate, they will continue to be owned by Warren County, although distributed for use among the departments. And then at the end of the term, they will be given officially to the departments. So the solicitor and Department of Public Safety have worked together in order to come up with this radio use agreement that just spells out the terms and conditions for having the radios. We really probably should have done this several months ago, but better late than never. These are all in your packet. Did the solicitor want to say anything any more about it?
Yeah, Commissioner, what I understand from the Department of Public Safety is that the department may desire to enter into multiple versions of this agreement, or multiples of this agreement with each of the different agencies. So I might recommend to the commissioners to make a motion to authorize Ken McPherson to, enter into these agreements as prepared with each emergency response agency.
Very good. Do I hear such a motion?
I will make that motion.
Do you hear a second?
No, second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to approve the standard radio use agreement and authorize the Department of Public Safety Director to sign off on it, please state aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next, rate for tax collectors. We deferred voting on the tax collector wages due to reasons explained in our special meeting in December, but essentially the law appears to take them separately. So we have worked up a sheet that had a 1% increase, just like all the other elected officials are getting this year and for the remainder of their term. So that was before you. Are there any questions? That's where we left it on Monday. Any concerns since Monday?
No,
Hearing
none.
none. Do I hear a motion to approve the increase for the next 4 years at 1%?
I'll make that motion.
1 second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All right. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, the next agenda item is an agreement with Country Manor Management Consultants. I'm going to declare a conflict of interest on this because since it was put on our last agenda, my father has applied for a position with this company and could even potentially be working on it. Therefore, I'm going to invoke the conflict of interest and turn the meeting over to the vice chair. Normally, I'd walk out of the meeting. In this case, since that can't really be done, I will just mute my microphone and go off camera. And whenever you're ready to bring me back, you can.
Sounds good. So we have before us a country manager management services proposal. This is a proposal to put together a comprehensive policy and procedure manual and quality manual. I don't know for sure since this is my first term, but I would guess that this is probably the first time that we've actually had a comprehensive effort to put a plan together that outlines policies, procedures, workflows, those types of things. The fee that's been quoted is $8,000. And from the time in which we commence the Country Manor Management Services, will be completed within 8 weeks. So I guess, Jeff, what are your thoughts about this particular proposal? I know that we have it in the 2021 budget, and I think it was budgeted for more than $8,000.
Yeah, I mean, there's ample money that's been budgeted repeatedly for this. It's something that we've wanted to do for quite a few years and just never, we've never made it a focus in the sense that I think it's something that we've tried to attempt internally, and it's always been a challenge. And what's clear is we need a set of hands that works on it on a regular basis, consistently, and kind of gets that first draft together so that then, you know, the county can take it from there. It's really important that we have comprehensive policies. That's how we determine, you know, the county's constantly dealing with liability issues and other things, and then also just the quality of the work. The best way to maintain that is through having solid policies that you can point to when folks deviate from that. We've, to my knowledge, reached out to at least 3 or 4 organizations in order to try to receive proposals and quotes and make contact, and we've had a lot of challenges with that. One of the big challenges is that there aren't many people that are working explicitly in municipal government and have municipal government backgrounds. So it's been a challenge to find another consultant that's willing to work in this space. Mostly they do manufacturing and things of that nature. So despite the kind of, you know, maybe the concern over Commissioner Cafferlin's father being associated with the company somehow, I think that that his involvement in the company itself is minimal, and that we don't have any other option to carry out this work, at least at this time, after a thorough search and trying to find other organizations. So I don't have a problem with moving forward with this as it is, especially since it's under the budget that we kind of allocated for it anyway.
I agree. I think it's a good idea. I think the fee is very reasonable, and it seems that the quality of the services that we'll get, specifically because this entity does ISO and lean policies and procedures, is good. They did have an assessment originally as it relates to policies and procedures, and by department, and we go from anywhere from 23% having procedures to 100. So it's a wide variant, and if it could be accomplished in 8 weeks, I'm thrilled. So I will make the motion to approve Country Manager Management Services engagement for $8,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, and so I guess all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, sounds good. Do we want to ask Ben to return? Ben's returned.
I'm back.
I don't think Ben shut his mic off. I think he was listening.
Oh, you
It
heard
looked
my.
like
That was really prompt. It was like, maybe Ben should come back. Click.
I said I would turn my microphone off, not my speakers.
Oh, there you go.
All right. The next item of discussion is the 2020 budget line item allocations. And for that, I would ask if Riley Enlow has any comments. Let me actually preface it just a little bit more, Riley. It's not been common practice of the county government, our county government, to do allocations to match up the previous year's budget. We have known for years that we should. Basically, the fiscal director has the authority to move money allocations within a departmental budget, but not necessarily across the departments. And so for that, we are essentially modifying the 2020 budget, not increasing or decreasing anything in terms of the total dollar figure at the end of the year, but we are making some allocations from certain departments to other departments in order to make sure that everything adds up properly. So you wanted to say, Riley?
No, nothing really. We just want to do the reallocation. So we have the $0 line item and almost all of the budget expense codes, just so no negative line items carry over into the 2021 budget. That's pretty much it.
Now, is most of this getting taken out of contingency or just getting shifted around within other departmental budgets?
So most of it's being shifted around within the department, one department itself. So for instance, like the jail, they spent more money in one line item than the other line item. We're just basically washing them out. So their budget's not really changing. There's not very many budgets that are actually changing overall, besides for our wages, because we had 27 pays in 2020.
Oh, right.
So all of our wages were over. So the contingency affected the wages. That's about it.
Okay. Presumably would not have that'll have an impact on this year's budget though, positively.
What do you mean?
Just that over the course of a 52 pay period, it would still be the same amount. It's just that those wages are getting allocated earlier than anticipated, front loaded a little bit, if you would.
Yes.
Any questions? Then I would ask for a motion to approve the 2020 budget line item reallocations presented by fiscal.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Thank you very much, Riley, and even though he's not here anymore, Eric, for working on this. We appreciate it. If there's nothing more, all those in favor of the motion, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, Resolution 3172. This is for the tax-free tax anticipation note. Normally we do this earlier, I believe, but basically Section 8126 of the Debt Act forces us to do quite a bit of extensive paperwork. And at this time, I'll actually make an announcement that this afternoon, once this resolution is passed, the commissioners will be meeting in order to sign off on the tax anticipation note that we approved in a previous meeting. I'm not calling that executive session because we already approved it and everything. Just need to go through the very lengthy process of signing quite a few documents. As a reminder, though, this is for a 3.5 million tax-free tax revenue anticipation drawdown note, and it will be paid back in the coming year. The purpose of it is kind of like a government credit card, if you would, for a period of time, just to make sure that we can draw down if we need to funds in order to operate until our taxes come in the fall. Nathaniel, did you want to say anything about it?
No, everything is being done same as last year, and I want to thank Pam Matby, the chief clerk, for assisting in getting the closing ready this afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, thank you both. Really is so much more affordable to have you guys do it internally, and you've done a good job. I'm very pleased. If there's nothing more, I'd ask for a motion to approve the resolution 3,172 as presented.
I'll make that motion, and the amount is for $4 million, correct?
Thought it was 3.5.
I think the resolution says 4, so we're covered.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
Any other questions? I apologize. Did I get a second on that?
I don't think you did. Jeff, did you second that?
I'll second. I'm sorry. I must have missed the first.
Motion made and seconded to approve resolution 3,172 as presented. All those in favor, please state aye.
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 Excuse me, opposed likewise, motion carries. Next, resolution 3,173 is the postponement of tax duplicates. This is always done in our first meeting of the year. It comes up from assessment and basically defers the normal county schedule, meaning what other counties do in terms of sending out the tax duplicates. This saves us on postage because we're essentially sending our taxes with the school boards. And especially in a year like this year when our tax anticipation is less than 1% interest rate, I think it really does make sense to do this. Any questions? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve the resolution 3,173.
I will make that motion to approve resolution 3173.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please state aye.
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 Motion carries. Reappointments to the Conservation District Board. It's been my pleasure to serve this past year on the Conservation District Board. The law specifically says that commissioners, representative, well, first of all, that there must be farmer, public, and commissioner representation on that board. And then there's a 3-year term for the farmer and public, but for the commissioner, representative has to be reappointed every year. We received a letter from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania State Conservation Commission asking that we go ahead and appoint the recommendations of the Conservation District. And for the board vacancies, that would be Larry Upton, who's a farmer director, and his term would expire December 31st of 2024. David Miller, public director for the same term, and myself as the commissioner representative, and my term would, of course, as I just explained, expire at the end of 2021. Having worked with these gentlemen on the board for the last year, I wholly endorse them and would consequently ask for a motion to approve those 3 appointments.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor of the 3 appointments as listed, please state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Appointments and reappointments to the Housing Authority Board. We received a letter from the Housing Authority of Warren County requesting the appointment of Miss Melissa McLean, an appointment of Miss Carlene Smith. I believe those are both for 5-year terms. Correct me if I'm wrong, Attorney Schmidt. The reappointment of Lori Dunlap and Christy Fry for 2-year terms.
That's great. Those are correct. Those are the 4 appointments.
Okay, and with the correct terms. All right, is there any discussion, or excuse me, I guess could I first have a motion to approve these 4 appointments as listed?
My only So just, I guess before that, my only question is we've traditionally appointed for 2 years. Why are there 2 that are for 5? Is there any specific reason?
Attorney Schmidt?
No, I'd have to review the bylaws. It may have been whatever the bylaws stated the length of terms would be.
Okay.
Like, you know, the board here could make the motion that they would approve all 4 of them for 2-year terms, but in my discussions with the CEO, you know, common governance on these boards recommends, you know, staggered terms of office for the board members.
Okay. Yeah, 5 years is just a really long time, and it just seems kind of odd since we've traditionally done 2 years, but that's fine. I'm not necessarily going to object if everybody else is comfortable with that.
Well, it would be an appointment into the new Board of Commissioners. So I certainly, for one, would not be opposed to making it a 3-year term ending at the end of our term.
I think a 3-year term would be appropriate for those. That would still be staggered.
So the suggestion would be to change the term for Carlene Smith to 3-year term
As well as
And Melissa.
and Melissa McLean.
And then Ms. Dunlap and Mrs. Fry, should that be 1 or 2 years?
I mean, I don't want to throw a wrench in the whole thing. I guess I would make a motion to appoint Lori Dunlop and Christy Fry to 2-year terms, and then Melissa McLean and Carlene Smith to 3-year terms on the Housing Authority Board.
You've heard the motion. Is there a second?
I will repeal my first motion, and then yes, I will second that motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your initial motion. Motion is made and seconded. There's one motion on the floor. Is it clear to everyone? Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please state aye.
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 Very good, thank you. Motion carries. Close. Anything from the board?
I'm just gonna add for the record that in conjunction with the letter received, I also received a copy of their most recent bylaws. There's no indication about the length of term that board members must be appointed to, so I believe that the commissioners here have the authority to set the time frame for their.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other commissioner comments? Hearing none.
At this time,
Is that a motion to adjourn?
that's a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Over as soon as I can to sign the TAN documents. I'm at 911 now. It'll